Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Jaya Praja Janaranjana Nandana Jaya Praja Janaranjana Yasoda Nandana Jaya Praja Janaranjana Soda Nandana Jaya Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Vanachari Jaya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaura Bhaktu Vinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaura Bhaktu Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Follow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, Haribo, Ramo, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Sri Radhe Jaya. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya. Jaya Goranitai, 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 Jaya Goranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Go Premanande. Well, thanks. Harinam Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Go Premanandi Haribol. Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks for your assistance. Hare Krishna. So we're just going to read from Bhagavad Gita. We're on chapter 2, and we'll begin by the call and response by singing the invocation mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're on text 51, chapter 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. Karma jam buddhe yukta he phalam taktva manasina jamma bandha vinar mukta padam ganchati amanyam karma jam buddhi yukta he phalam taktva manisina jamma bandha vinar mukta padam ganchati anamayam. Would anyone like to recite the Sanskrit? Kama jambudhi yukta he atakta manasana jamma bandha vimukta ke janti jayam kama jambudhi yukta he phalam yukta manasina jamma bandha vimukta karma jam, due to fruitive activities. Buddhi yukta, being engaged in devotional service. He, certainly. Phalam, results. Tvaktva, giving up. Manisinu, great sages or devotees. Jamabandha, from the bondage of birth and death. Vinir mukta, liberated. Padam, position. Gachanti, they reach. Anamayam, without miseries. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages and devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. We can do call and response on that translation. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The liberated living entities belong to a place where there are no material miseries. The Bhagavatam says in 10:14:58, Samsritaye pada palva plavam mahat padam punya yaso murye bhuvam buddhir vatsa padam param padam 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 ye yat vipadam natasam. For one who has accepted the bow of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Mukunda, or the giver of mukti, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in the calf's footprint, param padam, or the place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikuntha is his goal, not the place where there is danger in every step of life. Owing to ignorance, one does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there are dangers at every step. Out of ignorance only, less intelligent persons try to adjust to the situation by fruitive activities, thinking that the result action will make them happy. They do not know that no kind of material body anywhere within this universe can give life without miseries. The miseries of life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease, are present everywhere within the material world. But one who understands his real constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Lord, and thus knows the position of the personality of Godhead, engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Consequently, he becomes qualified to enter into the Vaikuntha planets, where there is neither material material miserable life, nor the influence of time and death. To know one's constitutional position means to know also the sublime position of the Lord. One who wrongly thinks that... Sorry? I don't know, but can someone close that door? Oh, it's a lot going on in that doorway. I can get closer, but thanks. It's hard to concentrate at the moment. Can you hear me now? You hear now? Okay. To know one's constitutional position means to know also the sublime position of the Lord. One who wrongly thinks that the living entity's position and the Lord's position are on the same level is to be understood to be in darkness, and therefore unable to engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. He becomes a Lord himself and thus paves the way for the repetition of birth and death. But one who understands that his position is to serve transfers himself to the service of the Lord, at once becomes eligible for Vaikuntha Loka. Service for the cause of the Lord is called Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, or in plain words, devotional service to the Lord. Om Agina Tramanda Shah Jananjana Salakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manamdashtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Badanti Swabadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Mastaya Bhutale Shrimati Shivaram Swami Chinamani Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Mastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Chinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharane Namaste Sanyavani Pastachai Dachitarane. So we're just reading from this second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, he explains, it makes it quite simple and straightforward for us to understand. He gives the 5 main subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, which are the Ishvara, the Supreme Person, the Jiva, the soul, which is ourself, Kala, eternal time, Prakriti, which is material nature, and Karma. And out of these 5, all 5, the main subjects, one is temporary, which is Karma. That's the temporary subject itself. Karma is is actually we cause our own karma by misusing our free will, and by trying to enjoy separately than the Supreme Lord in the material world, which binds us to the cycle of being reborn again, in the samsara. The first subject, the Supreme Person, Krishna, Ishvara. So this is explaining that God is not just impersonal. He's not just in the Brahman effulgence. He's not just the bright light, the nothingness. He's actually beyond the Brahman effulgence. The Lord is situated in the heart of all living entities. He's the super soul. Ishvara sarvabhutane hridaya shaduna tishtati. That Arjuna, Krishna says to Arjuna that I am seated in everyone's heart, and the living entity is seated upon the machine of the material body. We're with a spirit soul. Like the next understanding of Supreme Lord is there in the heart. We're sat next to him. We're with a jiva. We're with the living entity. Srila Prabhupada makes it simple that, like, for us as in the human form of life, and the actual the Lord is within every single one of us, and we are like two birds on a branch of a tree. One bird is eating the fruit, and the other bird is actually watching everything he does. He's the witness. So that's real knowledge, actually, is to understand not just that we're eternal spirit soul, but Krishna is always with us in the heart, and he's watching everything, and he knows everything. He's the super soul, the Paramatma. But deeper knowledge than just Krishna's in the heart. Krishna's also the Supreme Person. God has a form. He's not formless. Like the deity, the Lord is non-different. Krishna has a beautiful smiling face, and he's bent in three places, holding the flute, and he likes to play in his pastimes. I'm not really qualified to speak on that, but he has his personal. He's personal, and then from his personal comes the impersonal. Comes Krishna's so beautiful that the Lord is so beautiful that that's where his effulgence. His effulgence causes the Brahman. That beauty of the Brahman effulgence is coming from the Lord, and then the reflection of Brahman ignites the sun. That's where the sun gets its light, and then the sun gives the light to the moon. So all this is coming from Krishna in all different planetary systems. So in the next subject is the jiva, the living entity, which is us, the soul. And then there's prakriti, material nature. That's Krishna's external energy, this material world. And then it's time, kala, eternal time. Time is eternal ultimately, but because we're in the material world, it seems that everything's subjected to time, but time is a checking force, has a beginning. There's no beginning and end, but ultimately on our situation in the material world, being in this temporary body, there is a beginning of the body and an end of the body. This is a temporary reality, but on the platform of the soul, when one engages himself more in devotional service and associates with devotees and chants the holy name, one more comes in contact with the reality, eternal reality, which is it's busy, isn't it? Is it me or is it busy? Sorry. A lot of movement, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and so this actual verse 51, its translation: by thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back home, back to Godhead. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Gaurani Tai, Ki Jai. So this process, it talks about the different yoga systems. It's very difficult to practice in the translations to actually practice real, like, what do you say, Astanga yoga and like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. There's different yoga systems, and Krishna's explaining that to Arjuna, because Arjuna is actually his eternal friend, and Arjuna travels with Krishna in his pastimes, and Arjuna is a great warrior. He's taken the he's actually become bewildered. Krishna's actually covered him by his internal potency, and Arjuna's forgot about his self-realization, and he's like a common man asking questions. He's asking these questions, and he's saying, actually, Krishna's explaining to Arjuna that in this age of Kali, it's very difficult to practice, like meditation properly, but you've been given the process of bhakti, of devotional yoga, because bhakti yoga is actually the topmost yoga system, but it's also accessible at the very bottom, so anyone can access it, to actually get to it. And the prescribed, we do like the 9 processes of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atminavedanam. And this is chanting, hearing, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, deity worship, praying, serving as a servant, dashyam, and becoming a friend, and eventually renouncing everything material and using it in God's service. And some of these great devotees are great examples of these, because the chanting was associated very well with a great sage called Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami was he recited the whole Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj is actually known for the hearing process. So there's a Shravanam and Kirtanam. So Sukadev Goswami was only 16 years old, and when he was born, he was actually 16 when he come from the womb, because he didn't want to come into the material world, but he was actually born at 16. And when he came, and it's we can't compare it to our in this day and age, but he mystically is there, and he was actually such a great sage that when he approached the assembly of all these great sages down in Namasharanya, he was approaching by the river, the Ganga, and there was an assembly of these amazing pure devotees, and they saw him. When he approached, they all stood up instantly, because they could see by his physiognomy that he was a pure Mahabhagavat, and he was above all the modes of nature. He had no desire to enjoy the material world, and so when he approached, he then saw Parikshit Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj had been cursed, and he was a great king. He was a Raja Rishi, and a Maharaj, and he was the king of the world. But he, by Krishna's arrangement, he had made an offense, and he put the snake around the shoulders of a great sage called Shamaka Muni, and because at a certain point he was out hunting and he came in, he needed water, and the sage was in meditation, and so he asked for water, but the sage wouldn't wake up, and he was the king, and he was saying, I just need some water. And Shamaka Muni was still meditating, he couldn't hear anything, and by this time he was so gasping for a drink. He could control his senses, but actually through Krishna's arrangement for a higher situation, he arranged for Parikshit Maharaj to lose his cool a little bit. So with his bow, he picked up this dead snake and he led it round his neck while he was in meditation. He was still in meditation with a dead snake there. And when he woke up, he threw it off. And by this time, his son called Shringi, his son had come and seen the situation. And because he was a young boy, he didn't really make great decisions, but he was very angry. Obviously, his father had been insulted. So he had this great Brahman Tejas. He had this sort of spiritual power, and he cursed Parikshit Maharaj. He said, "You'll die in 7 days." So I thought I'd go into this story because we're talking about the chanting and the hearing. And Parikshit Maharaj is so pure and powerful, he could have counteracted the curse. He could have just dissolved it because of he's a devotee, he's a pure devotee. But he saw it as Krishna's arrangement. He said, so let's see what the Lord's got in store. Maybe it's good to know when you're going to die, actually, and now I can prepare. So that was his meditation. So he instantly, he renounced his kingdom. He left it to his children, and Jamyajai, he left it to his predecessors, and he instantly went to the forest, and not the forest, to the banks of the Ganga in his loincloth, and he sat in meditation with the sages. And that was when Sukadeva Goswami approached. And when he approached, like, they all stood, and then he sat down, and then they all listened, and the questions and answers began, the Shravanam and the Kirtanam. The chanting was Parikshit Maharaj, and was Sukadeva Goswami, and the hearing is Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami some of these most important questions. The first question was, as it was all silent, he said, what is the most important thing a man should do in this world? What's the most important thing any man or anyone should pursue? And I've got one other question before you answer that. He said, I just want to ask this as well. What should a man do as well? This other man, what should he do who's about to die? That was his question. And Sukadeva Goswami sat, and he knew the answer, of course, instantly, but he was assessing the situation, so he didn't want to answer too quick. And he said, this is a very good question, but this is actually one question, because you never know when you're gonna go, actually. So it's better to always ask that question. And this is the most important question in life. What is a man, and what are we meant to do in our life? And this is where spiritual life begins. Tata Brahma Jigyasa. Who am I? What's this place? Not just a temple, but what's this material world? Where am I going one day? Where do I go next? I can't take anything with me. This is basic stuff, but in Kali Yuga, it's not basic. It's quite advanced in a way. Maybe some of us are quite fortunate enough to understand this at our birth or get given these questions. But most of the population don't really think about these things, because that's what it's talking about in the purport. Prabhupada says that owing to ignorance, one does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there is danger at every step. And out of ignorance only, less intelligent persons try to adjust the situation by fruitive activities, by engaging more in, sense gratification. And not that but Krishna says you don't have to give up sense gratification. You can use it in his service, because we're natural pleasure-seeking beings. The soul's always seeking pleasure. It's sat, eternal, chit. It's full of knowledge, and anand, it's full of bliss. So we're naturally looking for enjoyment and adventure. But Krishna says, just do that in my service. We can learn to do anything for Krishna, really, or anything we like doing. We can try to do it in his service. Like if we're at work, sometimes it's hard to do our work straight away for Krishna, but at least we can try and start giving a bit of the result for Krishna. Maybe some of the Lakshmi that we earn, the money that we earn, we give a little percentage to some preaching or spreading the great knowledge. And if we can't do that, at least try and remember Krishna in our minds, like that Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Smaranam is remembering, the third one, and that's Prahlad Maharaj. He's known for the remembering process, because he was Prahlad Maharaj was the son of the great demon Hiranyakashipu, and he was so pure and such a birth that he was he never forgot Krishna. He was even chanting in the womb as well, and when he was born and when he grew up, and he was put into an awful situation because his father was a demon. He was the greatest demon in the universe, and he wanted Prahlad to become a demon like him, and in the end, Hiranyakashipu put him into terrible situations, threw him off the cliff, tried to get him trampled by elephants, and put him in hot boiling oil. Then they tried to burn him, but he was just in meditation. He was just thinking of Krishna. Whatever you want to do, I'm ready, dear Lord. He was totally surrendered, and nothing could touch him. And in the end, his father got really angry, and he said, "You're Vishnu, where is he?" He said, "He's," and Prahlad said, "He's everywhere. This is all his energy. Is he in this pillar? Is he in this pillar?" And they say when he went to smash the pillar, this is his sword's coming out because he's so angry. He can hear this real sinister sound coming from the pillar, and it's much more angry and more darker than he could imagine to be himself, and it's actually Krishna in his angry form. But Prabhupada says that Lord Nrsingadev's anger is not like your anger. Like us, as talk for myself, we get upset or frustrated with things, and it becomes a bit heavy and cold-blooded, or we're trying to make someone suffer that's made us suffer. But Lord Nrsingadev wasn't like that. Krishna's anger is coming out to chastise and purify. So he got Prahlad Maharaj's father, Hiranyakashipu, and he actually done away with him in that situation. He tore him and purified him. So Krishna's, even in his angry form, he's very merciful, very merciful. Sorry, anyway, I'm jumping from some subjects here. So, we're just sort of, so when this world, it says, owing to ignorance, it does not, one does not know this material world is a miserable place. So we don't want to make it sound too miserable, but actually, the material world's very temporary. It's a reflection. It's a reflection of the spiritual world. This is a perverted reflection, and pardon me. It's like if you try to enjoy in this material world, if you try to enjoy without remembering the Lord and try and turn away, it's like looking at the fruit tree, trying to enjoy the fruits of the tree. And there's a fruit tree there, but you're looking into the reflection of the river, and then you're jumping in to try and find them, and you become wet and cold from the material atmosphere. And because Prabhupada explains that, we're like fish out of water. This isn't our original environment. We're just passing through. He says somehow or other we've come to this material world. It's a very dark place. And Padam, Vit Padam, as it explains in Padam, Yad Vit Padam, there's danger at every step. That the real danger, as for the devotees, is the devotees are fearless, really, because we're meant to be taking more shelter of Krishna and remembering him. But the real danger is coming back again. Keep samsara kupam, samsara chakra. Constant birth and death, and it's very rare. Prabhupada explains the human form of life is rare. The human form of life is the most important vehicle. It's the best vehicle for knowledge, for questioning, as we were talking about the entrance of spiritual life. Atata Brahma Jigyasa. Who am I? What's this place? Where do I go? That's the real, not just the question, but that's the pursuing. That's our real goal, is to find out is who we are, who the Lord is, and what the relationship is. So Srila Prabhupada's so kind that he gives it so simple for us in all beyond all scriptures is the first stage is understanding we're not the body, we're the soul. This body is changing. It's changing at every moment. Even when before we come in here, if you look closely with a microscope, it's changing its structure. We're aging. It's under the force of relative time. And one day it's going to go, no doubt. But yam yam vapismaram bhavam tijati namananta kevaram. Whatever one thinks of at the time of death, that state he will attain without fail. And that's the everything we do now in our life, everything we're doing. And we're architects of our destiny. So if we're actually so every great spiritual thing we do, that's the greatest benefit. Krishna explains in 2:40 that in this endeavor, in the spiritual endeavors, there's no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. And the most dangerous type of fear is, like I say, is rebirth, is being caught up in the material world, life after life. And I don't want to keep going back to around the same point, but like I say, the human form of life, that's not always you'll get a human form. There's 8,400,000 different species. And we're lucky to have the human form. And Prabhupada explains that make best use of this human form of life, the best use of a bad bargain. And because you could come, there's different animal species, you come back at different animals. And in animal life, there's no real intelligence, because an animal is driven by its senses, and it can't think like a human. It can't discriminate. Anyway, it's this age of this actual. The best thing for this age is Harinam Sankirtan. Harinam Eva Kivalam Kalo Nasteva 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 Gata Eva Anyata. That in this dark age of Kali Yuga, we should chant the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. We should chant. And this is given by Krishna, especially Krishna in the mood of Radha, in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gauranga and his associates, the Panchatattva, and this is the Yuga Dharma for the age of Kali is chant the holy name, chant and remember the Lord, chanting and hearing and remembering. So this is, and it's made it simple for the simple. So Lord Chaitanya, he comes and he teaches us how to chant, and it's quite straightforward and very. Prabhupada says it's so simple you might just miss it. It's not complicated. And Lord Chaitanya teaches us that we're simultaneously, we're one. We are one with the Lord, but we're different. We're not one, the same. We're the same in quality, but not the same in quantity. We're eternal spirit souls, we're parts and parcels, we're servants. So the nature of the soul is a servant. Jivara Sharupihai Krishnaya Nichadas. The spirit soul, our original constitutional position is we're meant to be servants, humble servants of the devotees and of the Lord. And that's what cleanses the heart, devotional service. But to start is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, chanting, hearing and remembering. Chant in the holy name. Prabhupada explains we should chant in a prayerful mood, and we should try to hear, and try to chant in association with devotees. It's more powerful. And try to chant early in the morning if possible. There's a few. There's no hard and fast rules, but as time goes on, it's good to try to go deeper, of course, because spiritual life is not a static process. It's very moving. And so we need guidance. We're nearly 5 to 7. Does anyone want to ask any questions or anything? Or, do you have a question yet, Hare Krishna? Joy separately, yeah. 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 If we try to enjoy separately from Krishna, it can lead to entanglement. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Ch- if one thinks they can enjoy without attachment, without Krishna, no, ultimately you can't. It's, I mean, you can try for a while. It might last for a while, depending how well your good karma is from your previous life. But Krishna explains that in 7th chapter in Bhagavad Gita 7:14 that this material nature is consistent of the three modes. My divine energy is very difficult to cross over. But for one who surrenders unto me will cross. But eventually the material energy will actually, you can't get out of Maya. It'll trick you, you're enjoying. It'll trick you, you got it under control. And then Maya will it's not, I mean, it's just, we're like children, aren't we, all of us? We need guidance, we need our father, we need Guru Sadhu Shastra, Tadvidi Pranay Patena Parvasena Sivaya Padakshanti Tigana Dananas Tapadarshana. Just try to seek the truth by approaching a spiritual master for anyone, and inquire from him submissively and render service unto him, because a self-realized soul has seen the truth and he will impart knowledge unto us. Unless one's serious in spiritual life, that we just let them get on. You can only just attract them a little bit by giving them prasadam and, and wishing them well. But if they don't want to change, let them find out a bit more for themselves. But we can only nicely guide them. But if one is serious about spiritual life, they'll commit more, won't they? They'll maybe read Prabhupada's books or understand that we do need guidance. So if one isn't up to that mark, we sort of keep, a safe, friendly distance, or not distance, but we can't push people into making them. But that's not the best way. That's not. You can't beat the material energy. You can't overcome the material energy without surrendering to Krishna. It's that simple, isn't it? I don't know if that helps.
No, it does help. So you have people in different categories. Like this person, she comes to the temple, she will engage, she goes to many temples.
Oh, that's good, she's coming to the temple.
Yeah, she does, and she engages in satsang sometimes, and different activities. Some of the programs she'll be happy to, she's quite happy to attend. She's very eager to attend some programs. It's like this. But she just wants to enjoy without attachment.
No problem. If she's coming to the temple and she's seen the deity and associated with devotees, it'll be purification, it'll be great. It doesn't matter what she thinks, she's getting great benefit just coming. Anyway, but just great benefit, better there. You can't go wrong. As long as you're being favourable, you're not upsetting anyone, and they're coming along, and it'll be okay. It's a matter of time, it's up to Krishna. Everyone has their times. You just got to let time take its time. I wish I could think more like this. Sometimes I try to force things in other areas, but we can't be the controller. Krishna will sort it out. He sees someone coming close a little bit. You never know. He's going to, like, give them 10 steps. You know, we never know their qualification. Okay. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Srimad Bhagavad Gita.